Welcome back to HG Roast No.2. With us today, displayed on the grill of roasting, is Gwyneth Paltrow. This is part 2. Through her Goop brand, all about a supposed lifestyle, Gwyneth Paltrow imagines, in her deluded way, that she's doing everybody on the planet a favour by offering her readers high-end sex toys, and then, through regular, pretentious comments, tells you all of the things that you need to have. Apparently, she tells people that your regular humdrum goodie drawer needs an upgrade, and therefore that you should be utilising certain things in order to enhance your sex life. And the site, Hollywood Gossip, tells us that the lube you're using has parabens, and those condoms may have prevented several unwanted pregnancies and STDs, but are they vegan, paraben-free, glycerin-free, non-anoxyl number 9-free, and benzocaine and lidocaine-free? Apparently, the article tells us we'd never considered what went into lube, and that it's particularly actually super toxic. The most popular options contain parabens, for one, and that we are, in theory, putting into the most vulnerable and permeable parts of our bodies, Goop pointed out. So, if you're worried about your genitals falling off as a result of toxic lube and want to give them a final hurrah that they won't forget, then perhaps Goop can interest you in Lilo Inez's 24K gold vibrator. According to Goop, it was designed for those who understand that you can't put a price on pleasure. Of course, you can't. I mean, what's wrong with your finger, or your partner, or a tongue, or sitting on the edge of a washing machine? No. You need to spend $15,000. Telling people that they should spend $15,000 on the vibrator demonstrates complete grandiosity. It's utter idiocy. It demonstrates a detachment from the world. But, of course, this is typical of Paltrow. She is so caught up in herself, utterly self-absorbed. Listen to some of these crackers that she's come out with in the past. She said, "We have great dinner parties at which everyone sits around talking about politics, history, art and literature. Ooh, look at me and my friends." Character trait acquisition. "All is peppered with really funny jokes. But back in America, I was at a party and a girl looked at me and said, 'Oh my God, are those juicy jeans that you're wearing?' And I thought, I can't stay here. I have to get back to Europe. Just take a swipe at an entire nation, why don't you? A nation that, of course, you've regularly fed at the teat of, and that you flog your products to, particularly in California, eh? Oh no, just completely write off all Americans as being people who aren't interested in politics, who aren't interested in history, art and literature. There are dumb fucks everywhere. And the United States has many people that are intelligent, articulate and interested in other things. Politics, history, art, literature and more besides. And also have great senses of humour. Many of them are my clients. But no, not for you, Gwynny. No. You write everybody off. Grandiosity, manipulation, smearing. But then, what else have you had to say? I'd rather smoke crack than eat cheese from a tin. You fucking pretentious twat. You'd rather smoke crack. I tell you something, Gwyneth, you're on crack with these comments. She said, Beyonce's like, okay, the singing is great, but you're not having any fun. She's like, remember when we were at Jay's concert and Punjabi MC comes on and you do your crazy Indian dance? Do that. Oh, you're so wild. You're so amazing. You're so caught up in your own world. She also said, my books are #1 New York Times bestsellers. Grandiosity, triangulation. My website is growing every day and is very successful. grandiosity, residual benefit. If people who know me and love me have a criticism, then I really want to hear it. But if not, it's just a projection. Like, I'm a screen, and it's not about me, so I don't absorb it. Word salad? Nullification of control? Utterly pretentious. She explained, we're human beings, and the sun is the sun. Yeah. How can it be bad for you? I think we should all get sun and fresh air. I don't think anything that is natural can be bad for you. It's really good to have at least 15 minutes of sun a day. Such brilliant science exhibited there by Paltrow. She is the expert on everything. If you need something to listen to, if you need some knowledge, then you're going to provide it, aren't you, Gwyneth? You're the one that's going to tell us how it is, because you know about everything. You know about steam cleaning your vag. You know about talking. You know about how it's much better to go to Europe because everybody there talks about politics and history and literature. Absolute mindfuckery nonsense. Complete twattery. But this is the kind of behaviour that you regularly engage in. You regularly come out with comments such as this because you feel entitled to tell everybody what's going through your mind. The slops of your delinquent mind spilling over. This froth, this sewage that spills over, that you feel entitled to tell everybody about because you have no boundary recognition. This is the way that you behave. Your level of self-absorption is probably amongst the highest that's been witnessed on the planet. Your level of pretension is extraordinary, all driven by your rampant narcissism, your grandiosity, your need to assert control and draw fuel. And an excellent example of that, Miss Paltrow, was when it came to the fact that you divorced from Chris Martin. You explained to InStyle magazine that you maintained a very good relationship with Chris. You said, he's at my house every single day. We have our own lives. Well, he evidently doesn't because he's at your house every day. Why? Probably because he's thinking, Jesus Christ, I've got to save those kids from this fucking lunatic. What's she trying to do now? Oh my God, she's trying to use enemas on them, using apple juice. Poor Chris is running around saying, sorry, Coldplay dudes, I can't lay down any more tracks. I've got to get over to the ex's house. She's going to come up with some absolute mind twattery, and I've got to protect the kids. She says, he's at my house every single day. We have our own lives, but we still have our family life. She continued, to this day, Chris would take a bullet for me. I think what you mean is Chris wants to take a bullet to just get away from listening to the shite that you come out with. Even though I'm not his wife, I honestly think Chris and I have contributed something positive to the culture of divorce. Listen to yourself. But you won't see it because you're unable to do so. You believe that you've contributed something positive to the culture of divorce. The reason that you got divorced in the first place is because of your narcissism. Because as I've explained elsewhere, not that this will mean anything to you, Miss Paltrow, but invariably divorce is so hard because most of them involve narcissists. You're suggesting that you're a role model for divorce. But it's hardly unsurprising because you think that literally everything that you do turns into gold. You think that you are the centre of the universe and that you now believe that talking about these things, that everything will catch on. Indeed, that is your mindset. You've said, it used to be that I would talk about something or write about it and people would be like, what the fuck is she talking about? And you got that bit right. She's a witch. And then later on it would sort of catch on. I'm like, this is my role. I'm here to do this. A friend told me if you're a trailblazer, you're the first one through and you get the cuts because you're hacking the path. Well, invariably, being a trailblazer does mean that you're first one, so thanks for stating the obvious. You are utterly deluded, and as a consequence of the privileged, rarefied atmosphere in which you operate. If you were coming out of this shite from a trailer on the old moonshine, you'd be sectioned by now. But because you're halfway pretty, that you've won some awards, that you're moderately okay at acting, people lap this bollocks up, thinking, she's right, let's all steam clean our vages. Let's allow beetle dung to roll around in our hair. It'll give it that waxy, shiny look that we all require. And on she goes, coming out with this repeated crap, believing that she has somehow contributed positively to the culture of divorce. Divorce is nasty. Divorce is a fight. Divorce is getting down and grappling and fighting over the kids and rowing about who gets the kettle. You're proud of the fact that you've contributed something to the culture of divorce. Once again, the fact that you're completely disconnected to the world is exemplified by comments such as these, and you deserve another dose from the blowtorch applied to your genitals. Let's steam those for you, but we'll do it so they're burnt to a crisp. How do you feel about that? Being on the receiving end of that for once, rather than trying to get everybody else to burn their vages. But let's examine more of the evidence, Paltrow, and find out more about material which merits your roasting. You once featured in an issue of Harper's Bazaar, and actually you stripped nearly all the way down, showing off the fact that you have got an okay body, which of course you think will be an angelic body, and that everybody wants to see it. Lack of boundary recognition, sense of entitlement. In the feature, for some reason, you stripped nearly all the way down inside of a supermarket. I'm not sure why that was. Maybe you were trying to infuse the melons with the scent of vag. Or perhaps you wanted to ensure that the carrots had a particular anus aroma around them. The article was about being daring, and you decided that you'd tell us all about what it means for someone who was 44 years old at the time to be daring. You explained, my daughter, Apple, 12 at the time, is super ballsy. I always follow her lead. Well, first of all, she's going to have to be super ballsy after you name the poor fucker Apple. I mean, seriously. I actually don't need to encourage her to take risks. She likes to push herself. She wants to see how far she can get. It's really inspiring to see that in a young woman. Sound like someone else we know. Back when she was around about 27, Paltrow won an Oscar. She got a rather large head. She said her father then labelled her an asshole, to which she took exception. Of course, it was a threat to your control, but in which she now takes pride. She states, if you haven't taken all of life's incredible knocks and disappointments and used them to become a fully integrated, self-expressing person. Fucking word salad. If you're talking, it's your words, you're expressing yourself, aren't you? You're not channeling somebody else, although of course you will invariably do so when you acquire character traits. But this is yet another example of the bollocks that comes out of your mouth. If you haven't taken all of life's incredible knocks and disappointments and used them to become a fully integrated, self-expressing person by the time you're 40, then what can I tell you, she says. I'm sure you'll tell us something you're always doing. You explained that you say you've tried to instill this same no-nonsense attitude in your children, Apple and Moses. In my case, I've born these two kids into a particularly strange circumstance. You're fucking right about that. Your bastard household. They're going to have to fend off a lot and protect themselves from a lot of projections and prejudice about who they are. No, the poor fuckers have had it brought on them because of the way that you carry on. But of course, you can't see that, can you? Because you have to blame shift, that you have to deflect it away from you. You, exhibiting no emotional empathy for those children, first of all, naming your daughter Apple demonstrates you've no emotional empathy for her, and she is the object. You quite literally name her as an object, Apple. That is how unconsciously you see her. I'm surprised that you wouldn't take a bite out of her, but probably you're too busy trying to eat yourself because you think you're so fucking delicious, don't you? But this exemplifies, again, the delusion that you operate from, and the delusion that functions through everything that you do, your pretension, your grandiosity, the fact that you feel entitled to tell everybody, buy this stupid vibrator at $15,000, stick this in your ear, shove this up your backside, and all of a sudden you'll achieve inner enlightenment through my goop lifestyle. I could spend probably 10 episodes going through that entire website, reading out the ridiculous shite that you come out with, and you don't see it. You think that it's meaningful, of substance. It's word salad. And talking of which, let's get down to more in part 3 of your roasting, as we find out more about the things that you get up to which deserve to be roasted.